Cam Ward's competitive. He's a really good player. I'm not surprised. I think he's going to have a Jaden Daniels type of impact. And, we just talked about, what's going on with the Colts. Houston's had a lot of protections with C.J. Stroud. I'm not sold on Jacksonville. I think Tennessee and Cam Ward can win that division, and a little preseason dust-up, no problem.
Mike T., where were you when you saw the notification that Daniel Jones will be the starter for the Colts, and what was the first thought that came to your mind?
Heading up here to Bristol, Connecticut, I thought it was a mistake. I put something out on social, guys, like, look, when he was drafted, he only had 13 starts at the University of Florida. He's had 15 since he's been in the NFL. And just like by way of comparisons, like these numbers are to me like stunning. Like I said, I just posted this on X, but if you just go over the last couple of years here, guys, Bryce Young had 27 starts in college, Caleb Williams 33, Cam Ward 57, Jaden Daniels 55. So Anthony Richardson has compelling upside. It's going to take time. But I'm surprised that they're not more patient with him.
Do you think that this is a situation where potentially saving and prioritizing saving your job is put at more of a priority for Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard than it is trying to work with a young Anthony Richardson who still seems like, at least from their perspective, has a long way to go?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, why can't you win with Anthony Richardson? Put a package together that works for him, give him more. We got to the AFC Championship game with a rookie in Mark Sanchez. And, if you believed in Anthony Richardson when you drafted him, again, like to me, the expectations would be like, it's not going to happen overnight. Let's live with the growing pains. He shouldn't make the same mistake twice, and he'll only get better and better.
Mike Tannenbaum joining us here on Theoretically Speaking, talking right now about the Colts quarterback situation as they made the announcement this morning that Daniel Jones is not just their starter for now, but their starter for the season. When you look at what Anthony Richardson has shown so far, he's only started like 15 games. He's thrown under 800 passes in the NFL. Do you think if he sits this whole season that there would be a team around the league that would actually try and invest in making him some kind of a reclamation project, or does this feel like the beginning of the end?
Yeah, he'll have plenty of opportunities. Look at, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold. They were with 4 different teams, so he'll get plenty. He's so talented. He'll get a ton of opportunities.
I would tend to hope so. I just feel like if the team that drafted you and has that capital invested in you is picking a guy like Daniel Jones over you, there's something they're seeing on a day-to-day basis that makes them feel otherwise. I'm curious when you look around the rest of the league, though. I know that this move makes me think the Colts are definitely drafting a quarterback in the first round next year. Would you be surprised if the Miami Dolphins also come to a place next year in April where they're spending a first-round draft pick on a quarterback?
Yeah, I heard your list. Look, the big question is always going to be, Tua's durability, because when he plays, they're very productive. I know he only played in 11 games last year. And I think certainly the Saints, the Browns, the Colts are much more likely. Not ruling it out for the Dolphins, but again, they have the solution, when he's healthy, unlike those other teams.
What do you think about the Los Angeles Rams? Because I just looked up today and realized in the draft, a sneaky move, when the Falcons traded back, the Rams actually have 2 first-rounders in 2026. They've got a 37-year-old Matt Stafford who enters camp this year late because of back issues. And I don't know if you've had any back issues before, but I don't think they get better with time as you age. Do you think McVay and the Rams could potentially be eyeing a quarterback in the first round of next year's draft?
Yeah, I like it. I think that makes sense. Stetson Bennett played better this preseason, but clearly they're not going to put all their eggs into his basket. So, yes, I think that's certainly a possibility. Stafford has had a great career, but obviously close to the end, 37 bad back. That makes a lot of sense to me.
I'm curious with McVay. We haven't really seen him kind of like go out and get that guy, and it's been a while, obviously, because he's had the solution in-house. So I would be curious what kind of guy he would be looking for in the first round. There's so many quarterbacks. Like, have you been kind of eyeing that 2026 class, sans Arch Manning? Like, who are some of the guys that have kind of stuck out to you?
Yeah, well, I think Garrett Nussmeier, Clay Kubnik at Clemson, Lenore Sellers at South Carolina. Like, those to me are the top 3. But yeah, there could be upwards of 5 or 6 that come out, obviously depending on what Arch Manning does, who has a couple of years of eligibility. So yeah, we could be looking at a historic group next year, guys.
Damn.
Here with Mike Tannenbaum. I got a question for you, Mike. Seeing Jackson Dart play pretty well over the weekend, me and Theo had the conversation yesterday. Who is going to start a game for their team first, Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart with the Giants? What would your answer to that question be?
Oh, I would go with Dart. I would start Dart right away. I would have given him the playbook in Green Bay and never looked back.
Wow.
I don't know what you're waiting for. I mean, guy rushed for 1,900 yards. Great stat is Russell Wilson was sacked at a rate of 31% above the league average last year. So to me, like, put Dart in, never look back, live with the growing pains, but he's clearly a much better athlete than Russell Wilson at this point.
I like that call, Mike T, and it feels like a call that a coach and a GM that had maybe more job security would make with more ease. Can you keep it real with us right quick? Like, does that ever come into play? Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, it is not like a secret that their job, their seat is a little bit shaky right now. And the same thing potentially for Steichen and the Colts. How often do decisions like that get clouded by the fact that you also would like to still be around next year and you don't want to hinge all of your bets on the play of a young quarterback?
Yeah, like for me, like you always have to do what's in the best interest of the organization, and I think things always work out. If you just do that, you just never know. Like, things happen. Again, like for us at the Jets, we were sitting there 8-7, hoping to have a winning season. Next thing we know, like we back our way into the playoffs and probably win 2 road games, and we're 30 minutes away from the Super Bowl. So all I'm saying is, like, you just never know. So play the best players for the best reason. And like I said, things typically have a way of working out.
I would like to see it. I know I would be a little bit, happier as a fan that has no stake in it to see more Jackson Dart, to see Shedeur Sanders, to even see Anthony Richardson with the Colts. But again, my job, my money, my livelihood is not tied to it. Mike Tannenbaum joining us here on Theoretically Speaking, talking little ball. I want to take us now on a trip to Nashville, Tennessee, where the number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward, he's got the moxie, he's got the confidence, he's got the arm strength, he's got the QB1 job, and he's just got in a fight with the defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons yesterday at camp. When you see something like that, what does that tell you about the competitive fire and potentially the way in which he can change the culture out there in Nashville that Cam Ward has?
Yeah, guys, like, we watched it all last year here in South Florida. Like, Cam Ward's competitive. He's a really good player. I'm not surprised. I think he's going to have a Jaden Daniels type of impact. And, we just talked about, what's going on with the Colts. Houston's had a lot of protections with C.J. Stroud. I'm not sold on Jacksonville. I think Tennessee and Cam Ward can win that division, and a little preseason dust-up, no problem. They'll be ready to go, and I think Cam Ward just has some really special, factors.
That's it right there, the Mike Tannenbaum. You're lockstep right now with Theoretically Speaking. C-Cat and I, we thought we were a little too high on this, but we've been all over the Titans. I do feel like Cam Ward can be transformative, not just in the way that he plays, but the way that he leads. And it's starting to feel like the Titans are feeling that same way. Mike Tannenbaum dropping a Tannenbaum on us here on Theoretically Speaking. Do you remember any camp dust-ups that happened, quarterback or not, back in your time with the Jets that you feel like actually galvanized the team, that people kind of rallied around, like, all right, man, we locked in, we ready to go hit somebody else?
Yeah, we always had, like, a lot of big personalities, like the Bart Scotts of the world. Like, the better the teams, like, you had some big personalities. So that's okay. Again, context is everything. Like, it didn't seem like, like blows were thrown or anything like that. So, you want a quarterback with moxie, a rookie quarterback that comes in. That's why, like, I'm so excited about Dart and Ward. I want to see them go out there and compete. And again, we saw that with Daniels last year. It wasn't too big for him. So a little, competitiveness out of practice, I'm good with it.
And Mike T, before we let you go, I feel like I'm contractually obligated. It would not be right if I did not ask you a Cleveland Browns quarterback room question, as we've been talking about rookie QBs and QB competitions. I'm not even going to lead you on this one. I just want to know where you stand right now. Joe Flacco was named the starter. Clearly, they have 3 other guys that think they have a chance to start this year. Just what is your 2 weeks into the preseason stance on the Cleveland Browns quarterback outlook for 2025?
Yeah. I think they're the third best team in the division. It's hard to figure out, though, because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to struggle, just given his age. And then you have, all the uncertainty of what's going on, obviously, with Cincinnati and their defense. So there's a high variance for who the second best team is, behind Baltimore. So, look, if Quinshon Judkins gets in there, they could run the ball. Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku. I think Flacco's okay, guys, but to me, I really wish either Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel was healthy, and then certainly like to see how that would have played out. But it's weird,